Hello there, YouTube. Well, I'm human. I make mistakes, and I'm here to fix one. These Mossberg Western Field rifles, the confusion is real, but I think I've got her figured out. So, this is a Model 31, no A. Now, I would have had no way of knowing that because this one had a 31A barrel attached to it. We'll get back to that in a minute. So, this is a Model 31, no A. And that means that it is basically a Mossberg Model R. And that predates the number series. So if you have a a Western Field 31 without an A after it, this is what you have, which is a Mossberg Model R. Now, when you go to find parts for it, you're going to want to search for a Western Field 31 because they made way more of those than they did Mossberg Model Rs, apparently. Because if you do a Google search, image search, you don't get very many Model Rs, but you do turn up several Model 31s. So, tip for you guys looking for parts on eBay. And I would suggest to do that because that's where they usually end up. At least 3 to 4 times a year I see almost, a whole gun worth of parts pop up on eBay of both models. So if you have a Model 31A, that's this guy. Not that that ends the confusion because this one comes in a variety of different models, including a Model 44, which has a completely different bolt style than this. It has the kind of classic Mossberg heavy stock S curve to it. And I have one of those. I'll pull it out in a little bit. So you can't go by the markings on the barrel because it's retailer markings. They're all going to say Western Field 31 or 31A. And you can tell on this one that it doesn't have a barrel sight, but some of them do. Some of them are cut for it. Like this one was until I covered it over. And I've really enjoyed this gun. You can see I put a cheek riser that I cut from a piece of old decking that I had laying around. It's really lightweight actually. Just kept at it until I got it the way I wanted it. But I needed to get my eye level up to be comfortable with it, especially with the bipod. It's a ground squirrel slaying machine. So I really like it, but the parts confusion is it's unbelievable with this stuff because of the markings on the barrel and everything else, and the transferring back and forth. And I've had enough people now, shout out to Eric, that want help getting theirs running again, but there's so many different numbers and different iterations of everything that I figured let's just lay this thing to rest. I've added to the misinformation with my previous videos. I'm not sure how I'm going to fix that. Maybe just put a link to them, or I don't know. But what I do want to do is show you the differences and how to tell the difference right off the bat. If you want the quick, just cut to the chase. If it has this tab on it and this style of cocking piece, you're looking at a Mossberg Model 40, Western Field 31A. If it's just smooth like this and doesn't have that piece, in fact, the receiver will actually have the cut on it. If it takes one of these, like if you get them separately, if it doesn't have a cutout in the receiver for this little safety, then it's a Model R, Model 31, no A. And there's, here, let me pop this out of the gun here real quick, and I'll put them down side by side so we can get a better look at them. So again, here we have the bolts. Now they're side by side. I've got the triggers here for comparison. Also, just real quick on those, this one's got a hook because it's a cock on opening deal, and this one is a cock on closing. So this one's got a little bump. You can see it there, a little bump and then a catch. And you can feel it when you push it forward. It kind of rides over that bump. Also, the square keeps you from being able to interchange these. It'll actually fit in there, but this is too big to fit in your groove. And so I would imagine vice versa. This would see this surface is bigger here, so that would prevent you from putting this one in the other gun. And it was just a safety thing. It was kind of just like one of those things where they had an early design, and it was cool if you knew how to use it, but if you were just going to throw them out into public, like selling them through Montgomery wards, they might have needed a little bit of extra safety, even though it really doesn't give you much. This one is just kind of a twist turn, kind of like a Mosin Nagant. kind of like this one is, but it's a little bit more simple. There's just a stud that it catches in. Well, might as well show you here. Hold on. So here it is. Here it is in safety mode, which is kind of weird, and also it can be easily knocked out of there. And when it does, it just instantly fires the gun. So yeah, maybe not such a great idea. Plus, it's a direct impingement. By the way, if you haven't seen my other videos, you really need to clean that up in there. Otherwise, it will not fire. They did a heck of a job brazing that on there, but they made a sloppy mess inside of there that makes that plunger really kind of drag, and if it does that, it makes it a pain to get it firing. Next little thing that especially Eric has been dealing with is the firing pin. So let me pop those out, and we'll take a look at what somebody did for this one and what they come like when you need to order a replacement. So this here is the factory one. This here is the replacement, as you can kind of tell by the rough cut there. But whatever they did here has worked, purportedly. I don't know, there's some other things on this that I wasn't sure. I mean, it's missing the stud there, but that wasn't the only thing that it was kind of doing. So this is what you run into a lot, is something that somebody made. A lot of times they'll be bent, or they'll be the wrong length, and they just never got it working again. They just gave up. So this is how they come, and there are some little, some nuanced details to these things that need to be ground in by you in order to get it to work. But that's like a gunsmithing thing, and if you can't do that, you probably shouldn't be messing with them to begin with. Also, there's these plungers and springs back here. This one on the Model R didn't come with a plunger, at least this one didn't, where this one did. And you can see the back, how hammered that is. Like this transfer plunger has been hitting the back of this bolt head instead of hitting the back of the firing pin. So I need to get a new pin and probably replace that if I was ever to use this bolt, although I can't really because it doesn't fit my rifle. But I keep it as a spare just so I have a comparison. I've used it several times now, which is cool. Another thing, these magazine tubes are not exactly the same. If you look on this Model 40 31A, it's got a little tabby there to work as part of the ejection system. Not sure if that's the only ejector, but that's definitely one of the ejector portions. If you look on this one, it doesn't have one. It's just flat across there, because all that stuff is in the bolt and on the side of the frame and everything. So it doesn't have that. So possibly it just uses the firing pin, and that might have been part of the problem that they had with safety with these. So yeah, I'm not sure if it had a plunger or not. This one definitely does, but this one definitely works, so it doesn't need one. If you just have the right KX spring, you should be fine. I think that about covers it. I did want to mention about the sights, that they're a lot different. They can come different. Like this one had a hood on it. This one didn't. I know that for a fact. It was just a regular standard set of sights. Like I said, you can see where the old rear sight base was. This one had none, so it had a receiver sight similar to probably what's on the other rifle I'm going to show you in a second. So let me go grab that. This is my Model 46B. You can see it's got a kind of a fancier, I think they're S102, I think that one's called. See, Mossberg has designations for all these sights. And I think this one's an S104. But on it, I think it says number 4. Number 4A there, and then number 4 on the base. So I don't know. They got, an expert would know what all that stuff was. But it also has kind of this cool ghost ring front sight. So in the combination, you can actually see the target, which is really cool. I really enjoyed that when I was a child. I thought that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. It's like, man, it was like somebody thought of something that wasn't just a regular old V-notch and bead. So there, here you can see what it's obviously not a Model 44, but the Model 44 has this same style of kind of lightning bolt S curve bolt handle because it has the heavier stock. It won't have any of this plastic stuff on it. That was, you know, later stuff, but it'll have the heavier style stock rather than this kind of, you know, sporter, fill in the pot, killing squirrel style stock. So why they made, I mean, they're obviously quite different. Even if this had the, you know, the different bolt, it's still going to be the same style, but they're going to mark these both the same. I don't know. Mossberg, Montgomery Ward's retail ordering system, chalk it up to that. And then all these years later, you know, they've resurfaced because I don't think anybody expected something that didn't have a, you know, a serial number, or, you know, none of these things are serialized. They didn't expect them to last that long. They sold them like it was a hammer or a hacksaw or something like that, and it wasn't. You know, it was supposed to last for as long as it needed to last, and then that was it. And we're talking about the Depression here, and we're not talking about people going off to Africa and shooting buffalo and water buffalo and stuff. No, these people were starving. They needed something, and if this is what they could afford, this is what they used. So that's why they're still around. It was a treasured piece of family history in a lot of cases, and I run into that a lot. People, you know, saying that their great grandpa had it, and et cetera, and that's why they're trying to get it working today, and that's great. Not a lot of value to them, of course, because a lot of them are really rough shape. This one included. It didn't work at all when I got it, but it's really, I can't tell you how happy I've been with it, and I think that the previous owner of this, even though I never met them, would probably be appreciative of that it's still going, rather than just sitting somewhere rusting away or not working. Because I think that was the original intent of these, and so I'm happy to carry that forward and happy to help you. So if you have a problem and you need me to shoot off some random ideas, I'm happy to do that. Just like this creation of this video, I'm not always right, and I guess as humans we can't always be right. Even when you know, it seems like you are correct, you just get some wrong information and then you end up spreading it, and that's not right. And I really needed to fix that, so this is the fixing it. So with that, if you've made it this far, thanks for watching. Be sure to enter my 500 subscriber giveaway if you haven't already. Not too many entrants for that. I'll let you check that out. I'll put the link up here. So, like I said, comments down below. Hit me up in the email if you need to. And other than that, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.